Hello, hi. My name is Patra, and today I'm going to give you a brief demo of the web-based Flash application that we are building. Basically, this is a simulation software, and the primary goal for building this application is to help familiarizing the nursing students with various sounds that are usually heard while performing a pulmonary auscultation procedure. By building this application in the form of a website, we can extend the reach to a global level. Also, since it is sometimes difficult to find real patients to practice on, this application can help the students get some idea of what to look for in a real world scenario so that they can be better prepared to diagnose such medical conditions and ailments. Along with this, an advantage of any simulation software is that the user can use it as many times as they want. As you can see on my screen right now, I have opened the application on my web browser. Currently, this application is not hosted on a web server, so it cannot be accessed from the internet until it is completed and deployed. But once it is finally done, users will be able to use it from their web browsers. To use this application, one needs a user account. There are two types of user accounts. The first one is the student account and the second is administrator accounts. Based on the type of account the user logs in with, different options will be presented. Initially, a student or a user needs to create an account using this create new user panel, and then an administrator validates this account or the request. After that, the account becomes usable. For this demo, I'm just going to use my existing student account to log in. I'm going to type in my username and my password, and I'm going to click login. Oh, sorry about that. So once I log in, I'm presented with a dialog box showing three options. The first one is the learning, the second is the training, and the third the exams. As of now, we have completed the learning and the training modules, but the exams is still work in progress, so you don't see any options here. In the learning module, the students can take their time studying any particular medical condition. So once the student is here, the student has an option to select one of the several scenarios that are listed here. So if a student wants to study asthma, you can select the medical condition from this drop down box and then say start. Clicking start will take the user to a different page where a model is loaded based on the medical condition. So in this model, as you can see, there are several regions. This is the anterior view of the model, and there is a posterior view as well. So in both of these views, this model is broken down into several parts, smaller parts. Each of these parts or region is associated with a sound. Clicking this play button plays the sound. For example, if I click this play button here, I hear a sound. Once the sound stops, we can move on to the next region. At this time, I want to mention that the images and sounds used for building this prototype are not our property. We are just using them for the sake of this demonstration. Another thing to remember here is that the sounds that are loaded in this model do not accurately represent the medical condition that we are studying, in this case asthma. So the sounds that you hear now may maybe that it does not make a lot of sense medically, but the sounds can be easily replaced once we have our own sound files. So if we continue examining this model, we can see all this here to all these sounds, and we also can change views from posterior from anterior to posterior and go back to the anterior view. We can do that. We can also play the sounds here. We can listen to all these sounds. All these regions have their own sound. Okay. What the next thing I want to show you is the option to study the auscultation order here. So going back to the same options form that we saw earlier, if we check this checkbox that says study auscultation order and then we say start, what happens is now the software is checking for an auscultation that we follow the correct order of auscultation. So the correct order of auscultation starts with the left top corner here. So this is the first region that one is expected to auscultate, and next is this one across here. So this is the correct order of auscultation. But if I make a mistake and if I jump to some random part, so the software tells me that the order was incorrect and I should try from where I left off. So if I click this one, so the order is back to correct now, and I can follow the rest of the procedure. Ideally a student would probably like to hear the entire sound, but I'm just for the sake of this demo, I'm just quickly going through all the buttons. In the end, once you finish the entire auscultation process, a report saying that the order was correct will be displayed. That's the end of the learning module. Next, we are going to look at the training module. Going back to the same options dialog box, now let us take a look at the training section. The training section consists of 3 parts. The first part is to test the order of auscultation. It's an optional part. In the second part, a medical condition will be chosen randomly and a model will be loaded with the sounds associated with that medical condition. In the third and final part, the student will be presented with some multiple choice questions. The student can specify the number of questions he or she wants to answer here. So the first and the third part are optional. I will check both these checkboxes and say 4 questions to start my training session. Here we are greeted with the alert message which says that auscultation order checking is on, and so we need to follow the correct order of auscultation. Same as before, I will follow the correct order. I will be quick here, not listening to all these sounds. Once the procedure is finished, I get a report saying that the order was correct. Now I have to state my diagnosis. From this drop down list, I have to select one of the condition which I think is the condition that this model demonstrates, and then I have to click submit. Here at this point I am free to examine the model by clicking any of these regions and playing the sounds. I can even flip and I can listen to whichever sound I like. When I'm ready, I need to select the correct choice here. For the purpose of this demo, the model is loaded with sounds from the scenario normal. That's because I cannot diagnose which condition it is just based on the sounds I hear. I mean, the students should be able to do that, but I cannot. I know the correct answer is normal, and just select normal and click submit. It will take me to the next part of the training session. Here I'm presented with a list of multiple choice questions. Here I can select my answers and click the check button to see which of them were correct and which of them were wrong. Okay, I'm not sure what's the correct answer here. Alright, so after I have answered all these questions, I can see the results here, which is basically I got all of them correct, and that's the end of my training session. So far we have seen the options that the students have, such as the learning and the training sessions. Now we are going to look at the administrative aspects of the application. To view the admin options, we need to use an administrative user account. So I'm going to use my administrative user account and the password, and I say login. As you probably noticed, we are presented with a different view here. In this view we have a toolbar and several menu items. We are going to look at each of them one by one. The first one is the sound management. Well, at this point I should tell you that this since this app is still in the development stage, so some of the options may be lacking full functionality. For example, under this sound management, the add sounds option has some issues with uploading the file in the file system of the server, but I'm working on it, and it should be okay soon. I will show you how it will work when it's done. Under sound management we have two options: to add new sound and to remove sounds. So when you say add new sound, here you can give the sound file a name, new sound. I'm just going to call it new sound, and I'm going to say description here. Then I can select a sound file from my computer, and I'm going to say save. So that sound gets loaded, and when I say add sound, this sound will be added and stored in the file system of the server. The other option that I have under sound management is remove sounds. So here I have a list of sound, and this is the latest sound that I just added. So I can remove this sound like that. or I can play a sound to like that. Just by double clicking on a particular item, I can play this sound and then decide whether or not to remove it. The next thing we have here is the question management. In the question management, we have three choices. We can create new questions, remove questions, and edit questions. I'll demonstrate each one of them. First one is to create, when you want to create a new question. I'm just going to create a sample question saying, what is the color of sky? Here I'll have red, blue, green, yellow, and the correct answer is B. So I'm going to say submit. What this does is it adds the question in the question bank, and then if I want to see or remove this question from the list, I have this is the list of the questions that are already in the question bank. So we have a question itself, the options, and the correct answer. We can, if we want, we can remove one of these questions just by selecting the question and clicking remove. We can also edit the question here. So for example, I just added this question. I can, from the correct answer, I can make the answer something else, D, and I can click update. That will update the correct answer to D here. The next option that we are going to look at is the scenario management. As far as this application is concerned, a scenario can be thought of as a medical condition. The first step to creating a new scenario which models a particular medical condition is to add the sound to the database. We already saw that in the sound management section. The next step is to assign sound files to each of the regions of the model. When we were using the learning mode in the students options, we saw a model and each region of the model had a sound associated with it. Now I'm going to click on the scenario management and select create new scenario. That will open up a new window here. In this window, we can create that association, that the sound and the region association. What this does is that it gives the administrators complete freedom of creating their own scenarios occur medical conditions without the help of the application developer. That's me. So here we are going to just give a scenario a name. I'm just going to call this scenario a new scenario, and then just write a small description. I can assign here sounds to this scenario. I'm just going to randomly assign these sounds. When we load a new sound from the sound management panel, that sound will show up in this list. This is just for as an example. I'm doing this. Then after I select sounds for all the 26 different regions that are present on the model, and I select the create scenario button, I get a message that the scenario was created. I can review this scenario here, which is called the new scenario. A student can log in using the student account and study this new scenario. new scenario now shows up in this here now, and I click start. The sounds are loaded accordingly, and I can hear the sounds. So as I said, this application is meant to be completely manageable just by the administrator without the help of the application developer. So this since this scenario really doesn't make much sense, and I'm going to remove the scenario using the remove scenario menu option. That's done. The next aspect that we are going to look at is the user management. As I mentioned before, the first step to using this application is to create a new user account. So when a person logs into this website and says that he wants to create a new user, so he gives his name. I'm just going to say ABC here. The password is also ABC. I'm going to confirm the password, the full name. And says create new user. So we get a dialog box saying that a new user request has been sent, and you will be able to log in once the request gets approved. I'm going to create one more. I'm going to call it XYZ. XYZ. The same. When I log in using my administrative account, I will see all the administrative options. Then when I go to user management and grant access to new user, I'll see that there are these two requests. The first one is for administrative privileges and the second one is for students. So I'm going to reject the first one and accept the second one. Okay. Then what happens is someone, the person XYZ can log in using their own user account. So that's how it works. So that pretty much concludes this demo. I think I have covered almost everything that is fully functional so far. We are currently working on making this application error-free, bug-free, and at the same time expanding its functionality. I hope you like this demo, and with time this app will keep getting better. Thank you.